Have you ever felt that just one rude message or one bad look from a stranger was enough to sink your whole happy day? In the busy rhythm of life, we often let our emotions be controlled by outside things. In fact, exhaustion does not come from work pressure. It comes from the way we fail to react to what happens. We unknowingly pick up other people's negativity and turn it into our own burden. This video will tell you the story of Ken, a young man who always carries a mental backpack full of heavy stones in the middle of the city, and how he finds freedom. Especially at the end of the video, I will share a very simple 1-minute practice to help you release all emotional burdens and get your peace back before you fall asleep. Let's begin the journey of letting go to find your inner strength again. In the bright city full of lights, Ken walks like a lonely man with heavy shoulders. Every insult from his boss, every lie from someone he knows, or one rude look on the street, he carefully picks up and sees it as a stone, then throws it into the backpack on his back. That bag does not carry physical things. It carries the mental burden that he chooses to bring with him through the years. Ken never lets himself lose. If someone speaks to him in a harsh way, he answers even more harshly. If someone insults him, he keeps that pain and uses it as a weapon. But this reaction only makes the bag of stones bigger and heavier, pulling his body down to the gray road. In complete contrast to Ken's darkness, the sky above is still bright blue and white clouds slowly move in total silence. The scene around him seems to invite peace, but Ken cannot look up. He is too busy reacting to negativity, and he misses the beauty of the world just because he keeps watching the stones that others throw at him. When Ken climbed to the rooftop of the tall building, his legs almost gave up, not because of the height, but because of the invisible weight from the mental backpack that he had collected all day. There, in the strong wind, he met Marcus, a worker who repairs solar power systems with white hair. The difference between them was clear, like two opposite sides. Ken was young and in his strongest age, but he looked like an old man. His shoulders were bent, his face was full of anger, and his eyes were tired because he was always on guard with the world. In contrast, Marcus, who was over 60 years old, showed a strange and light energy. Under the hot sun on the rooftop, his thin hands still moved smoothly. His lips softly whistled an unknown song, and his eyes shone with satisfaction when he looked at the wide open sky. Ken walked closer and spoke with a broken voice because of exhaustion. "How can you stay so calm? This city is so toxic. I feel like I carry a ton of stones on my back every time I go outside." Marcus stopped working and smiled at the young man who was breathing heavily. He did not look at Ken's muscles or body shape. He looked straight into his eyes that were full of anger. Marcus slowly said, "You are much younger and stronger than me, but you choose to pick up all the ugly things that people throw out and make yourself suffer. I am old now and I do not have much strength left, so I choose to keep only the quiet of the clouds in the sky." This meeting is a clear proof that the real burden of a person's life is not about age or physical strength, but about the state of the heart. A heart that is greedy to collect hurt will always be heavy, even if its owner is young. But a heart that knows how to let go will always be peaceful, even when time has left marks on the skin. Standing in the strong wind on the rooftop, Marcus picked up a broken brick from the ground and gave it to Ken. His voice was warm but firm. "Look at this stone. When someone insults you or lies to you, they are like a person who throws this stone on the ground and walks away. They do not keep it, and they do not care about it anymore. But you, instead of walking past it, choose to bend down, pick it up, and put it carefully into the backpack on your shoulder." Ken became silent. His hand still held the straps of the backpack tightly, like a habit to protect himself. Marcus continued, his eyes showing the truth that Ken always tried to avoid. The hurt is only a moment that has already passed. But your reaction when you keep it and think about it again and again turns it into a burden that lasts a long time. The person who hurt you only threw it once, but you throw it into your own heart thousands of times every time you remember it. Your reaction is your burden, not their action. These words were like lightning that broke through the fog in Ken's mind. He suddenly realized that for a long time, he acted like a poor victim, but in fact he was the one who hurt himself the most. He was always proud that he was strong because he dared to fight back when people treated him badly. But now he understood that it was his biggest weakness. He could not control his own emotions, and he let them be controlled by a bad look or a rude word from a stranger. The wind from the high floor blew strongly through Ken's big backpack. For the first time, he looked at his hands and asked himself, "Why do I have to carry other people's emotional trash?" The truth became clearer than ever. The burden does not come from the outside world. It comes from the hands that keep holding the stones that should have been left on the ground. In the moment when the truth exploded in his mind, Ken slowly opened the lock of his mental backpack. He imagined that he was holding each black stone representing his boss's insults, his friend's betrayal, and meaningless arguments, and dropping them freely from the top of the building. With each stone he let go, a strange miracle happened. The tight feeling in his chest suddenly disappeared. Fresh air filled his lungs. His shoulders felt light, and his back seemed to stretch straight again. He no longer looked like a man carrying heavy suffering. The change was not only in his body, but also in the way he saw the world. When his mind was no longer busy guarding old hurts, Ken's eyes began to see what he had missed for so long. The sunset shining gold on the glass buildings, and the people below moving like a lively river, not like possible enemies. He understood that letting go is not losing or giving up his pride. It is saving himself. Ken stood there and took a deep breath. He felt peace spreading from his soul to the tips of his fingers. The world around him was still noisy, but inside his heart, there was now a quiet space with no room for stones of anger. When he left the rooftop, his steps were no longer heavy. They were light steps of a man who had found the power to control his own emotions again. Ken looked at Marcus. His eyes were no longer harsh, but full of deep gratitude. He gently bowed his head and said, "Thank you, Marcus. Without you, I would still be busy filling my heart with the world's trash and calling it strength." Marcus only smiled a kind smile like the wide sky above, then turned back to the solar panels and continued his soft whistling song. Ken returned to the busy life of the city, but now he carried a completely new filter in his soul. Marcus's lesson became a guide in all his interactions. When he stood in a traffic jam and heard loud horns, instead of getting angry and reacting, he chose to stay silent and smile. When he received a harsh email from a client, he took a deep breath, solved the problem with reason, and did not let the rude words enter his bag. He practiced letting the stone fall down as soon as it appeared. He realized that when his hands were no longer busy picking up negativity, they were free to hold small joys, a strong cup of coffee in the morning, or a sincere question from a colleague. Life was still full of changes, but Ken's mind became clear, and his steps were lighter on the sunny sidewalk. He understood that inner peace is not running away from the world. It is standing strong in the world, without letting any stone become your own burden. To end this journey of change, let us not only listen to Ken's story, but turn it into our own experience. Peace does not come from the world stopping throwing stones at you. It comes from you choosing to put the stone down. The 1-minute release exercise before sleep. Every night before you finish a long day, take exactly 60 seconds to clean your mental backpack with these steps. Sit quietly. Turn off all devices. Put your hand on your chest and feel your heartbeat. Recognize. Think about one moment today that made you feel heavy, a criticism, a disappointment, or sudden anger. Imagine and whisper. Imagine that situation is a gray stone in your hand. Whisper softly, "This stone is not mine. I give it back to yesterday." Let go. Take a deep breath. When you breathe out strongly, imagine that you put the stone down on the ground. Feel your shoulders become lighter. Do not let those dirty stones enter your sleep and ruin your tomorrow. Right now, try this exercise. After you finish, how do you feel? Does your chest feel a little lighter? Write one word in the comment to describe your feeling now, or bravely list the stones that you decided to leave behind to free your soul. We cannot choose what happens to us, but we can always choose how we react. Finally, remember this: peace is not a lucky gift that falls from the sky. It is a clear choice in every moment. The world outside can still be noisy. Life can still throw rudeness or lies at you, but they only become a burden when you decide to bend down and pick them up. Your reaction is your power. Do not turn your soul into a warehouse full of other people's stones of hurt. Choose to be like a wide sky where dark clouds can come but can never stay. When you learn to let the stones fall as soon as they appear, you will see your steps become lighter, your mind clearer, and your life more beautiful than ever. If the story of Ken and Marcus has helped you find a new way to calm your soul, please share this piece by pressing like and sharing this video with the people you love, those who may also be carrying a backpack that is too heavy. Subscribing to the channel to discover more healing stories and build inner strength every day. Thank you for listening. I wish you a light and peaceful sleep because today you chose to let go.